manifested. We, the people that are human, considering how fragile humanity is, considering how human fragility is, recalling the loss of life, recalling the waste of life, recalling the waste lying in the wake of humanity losing its calling, understanding that resilience is planted, understanding that plants are resilient, understanding the unimportance of hardness for flourishing despite survival and wariness, aware of our responsibility to feather the body of ecosystems, aware of our self-reflective, self-destructive eyeballs turning in the direction of light and shining into wants and comparisons, aware of the kindness seated in the shared nerve endings, aware of the undertaking of resources for ourselves, aware of the thunderous rolling of time that only stretches through living, we commit. You, soft anxiety born in a concrete gray brain matter, like a wild rabbit running and swimming in a city maze of treacherous streets that wound their sunken, rusted metal masts around your neck and squeezed. You, liquid fear weeping from lungs holding on to air for too long when the shadows of sickness throw shades over souls leaving burn marks on the inside. You, chased from place to place by the bushfires of anger that ripped through your home, by the bombing of greed and hellfire of bigotry. You, a scar that doesn't tan or blush, an inner voice hanging by the epiglottis, an emotion flogged with self-disgust. You, a thought that became a word that was translated into another language, a word that became a strange foreign thought in another mind, a foreign soul that got lost and damned in that translation, in that new mind, in that new city. You, who grew and shed vocabulary like winter fur, like fingerprints on railroad tracks slipping through suicidal thoughts, like menstrual blood leaking through a makeshift pad and drawing Rorschach nightmares on a teenage girl's white sheets. Bloody words that she washed in shame in the middle of the night. You, who stare down tear ducts smelling of wishing well fatigue like a fox counting the holes in the heads of sunflowers decapitated by loneliness. You, who carry the twisted words of your parents like a jungle gym shrine, like a jungle growing around your eyeballs and down your throat and twisting in your spine. Break them. Break the lies you were fed. Break them like glow sticks and swallow them. Swallow the neon lights of the nights in Tokyo. Swallow the bad Bukowski wannabes of the subterranean poetry cafe in Brooklyn. Swallow the spoken word of Rusu and Tenho in Helsinki. Break it. Break the porcelain doll they poured your berserker soul into. Break open your mouth they fused shut into a smile. Scream out the wings and forge strings out of the lava that will spill through the broken barricade of your teeth. Spill like the tear gas voices of school children in Hong Kong singing the songs of angry men. Like a flash mob of women in Santiago de Chile singing shame on you at the rapists. Like tens of thousands singing the Rhodes blockade in Shaheen Bagh in Delhi. Like Italians singing ho from their balconies in quarantine. Like a 16-year-old girl singing shame on you at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Break them. Break the plastic coins bearing the images of gods who forced you to bear saviors of men in your womb and on your shoulders, the plastic coins that roll out of the mouths of those same lost old men to give you worth, the plastic coins those men melt to make condoms to wrap around their dicks. Break yourself. Break like a post-apocalyptic city, crumble like a skyscraper that used to be a bang but now is a home to a hungry, angry, rabid pride of lions that does not give a shit about money. please, for the love of everything that you could ever become, just break. And if you're anything like me, your soul will be delivered to you at the shattering of that world, disassembled like IKEA furniture, with no instructions on how to put it together except for a card that says, everything will be okay. So call your friends. Open a bottle of wine, bake a cake, scream in frustration, jerry-rig elbow grease, spill smoke all over the carpet, and I know that it won't be pretty. And it won't work like you expect it to. It comes with extra guilt and baggage parts, no balance pegs and no network cables, but it will work. And it will fit. And it will connect. And so will you. Everything will be okay. I promise. I woke up to the smell of rust and moss playing glockenspiel on the bars of my balcony, to the sound of sunlight melting gold for daffodil drops, to the touch of May strumming the sail ropes under my eyes. The caravan of the world had halted in the march, and my eyes dream knowing the sky won't crumble, and my fingers no longer have cramps from holding tight to my bed frame all night, and my feet no longer clench, not knowing where they would step in the morning. My inflatable monsters are folded quietly because I swallowed every molecule of toxic air out of them and then exhaled it in the shape of a barkentine, of a pirate ship, of vagaries and whimsies. Bagpipes hum to life, hum to mourn the voice of the earth that never sang in their lifetimes. Leather-strung daughters that never met their mother but hear her singing in their dreams. They fill their leather bellies with her dying breath and call, their quiet liquid roar pouring over the rain-starred fields. The rhythm stumbles. Uneven, on a rocky ground under the sky that cracks unblinking dry lightning, a storm song that doesn't keep an even beat, like a heart that never learned that seconds are counted by the half-life of atoms in laboratories, like a muscle cramping, like a bread stitching the skin of the earth back together, like the soles of the feet that will run over the gasping hot coals, like the voices of the dead that will run their fingers over the vocal cords of the living in that summer night, in that pagan ritual swallowing the shadow of the harshest sunlight, in that sun-brown soft little hand with rock scratches and dirt under the uneven fingernails, clasping the dry, smiling palm of my grandmother. A tree has sprouted in the middle of my home. Pushing through the flooring, faking woodwork, a tree of impatience, unfocused, unsymmetrical, skewed, and intrusive. A tree grew out of the crumpled poems, of the unfinished yoga exercises, of the unsystematic music practice, of the unread books, of the unwiped tears, unfolded laundry, and unwashed coffee mugs. A tree of exfoliating memories, of finger-licking denial, of soul-crushing positivity, of tactile boredom, of whistling wanton anger. A tree grew, and spiders wove webs of scuttling sounds in its leaves, and its branches creak with utter disregard for interior design, for politeness, for gravity, for order. My home houses a tree this spring, and it smells like hope. When this is all over, I will hug everyone I meet. When this is all over, I will go out for drinks. When this is all over, I will smile at strangers with no masks. When this is all over, I will travel and I will eat street food. When this is all over, I will cough to my heart's content and I will delete Zoom with unbridled glee. When this is all over, means people want to forget it ever happened. They want to forget the number counters, the lockdowns, the washing masks, wiping groceries, canceling holidays, talking to family over Skype, about exercising at home, making bread, Tiger King, distractions. When this is all over, wishes make me sad. Because when this is all over, the grief will not be over for the families who lost loved ones. When this is all over, survivors will suffer from complications. When this is all over, there will be empty seats and empty pillows in houses. When this is all over, doctors and nurses and supermarket workers will have PTSD, nightmares, burnouts. And that pain deserves better than to be buried under our collective denial. When this is all over, children will remember it. They will wear a planetary fear around their necks for the rest of their lives, and they will tell their children about it, because when the ground is falling apart, you will always remember falling. When this is all over, I want to remember all of it. The fear, the insomnia, the crying, the online teaching, the online poetry slams, the sheer stunning humanity of each breath and each word and each smile over the masks, a smile that is 1,000,000 times brighter because we know how precious the love for the human in front of us is. As precious as the distance we keep and carry through the crushing gravity of isolation. When this is all over, I want to remember. I want to remember that we can be kind and connected, that none of us are alone, that we are all capable of growing nerve endings millions of miles long and feeling every single other human, that we are all together, that we can be reaching out into the darkness and holding each other up to breathe when our souls cramp and drag us down to drown. I want to remember how women like Jacinda Ardern and Sanna Marin led countries with compassion and intelligence and grace through the darkest hours of history. I want to remember people marching in Sofia, Warsaw, Hong Kong, Bangkok, Minneapolis, marching the world out of the night. Because when this is all over, I want us to be better to ourselves, to each other, and to the world. Thank you. Kiitos.